Well, what's up, guys? Staying here from Rocky Creek. It's long time no talk. I have been gone for a very, very long time. I think I'd have to look back, but it's probably been nearly 3 to 4 months, give or take. And usually, 3 weeks was about the longest I'd go, but I kind of just reached a point where I just needed to take a break from a lot of things. And so today's video, we're not going to get into any big mind revealing type thing we got going on here on the property or any new project, although I do got a couple things we're going to be doing in the near future, and I do have intentions to share that with you. But I think we're just going to share with you one major update, which is not of good news, and it was quite sad really that we ended up having to do this, but it was necessary in my eyes. And also just to kind of talk about what are some things that maybe I've learned or pondered during our time away that I think was much needed. So come along with us. Let's check out what's kind of going on here, and let's get into kind of what's been going on during our time away. Well, I'm pleased to let you know that in terms of our flock, not much has changed with our chickens. Everybody's still doing well. Old Gertie the goose, she's still doing her job, and we've still not had any hawk attacks whatsoever because she's doing what she needs to do. But this is just a part of the flock. A large percentage of our flock is out running around. Y'all know we got Bruce the rooster here, but we also got our other rooster that's running around that we hadn't named yet. And some of you all offered some suggestions on names, but Madison and Griffin really want to name him Hey Hey from the movie Moana. I keep calling him Chico, but they want to name him Hey Hey, so if it makes kids happy, he might be Hey Hey from now on. This was old Hermie's old rabbit hutch, and the chickens have found it to lay eggs in now. So I've been finding some eggs there once in a while, and you can tell temperatures are starting to change for us. It's still pretty cold, but we are starting to get some egg production is starting to increase now as the days are starting to get longer for us. It's a really windy day here on our property, but it's also been one of the first few days in a while that it wasn't either bitter cold or lots of rain or winter weather. And so I really wanted to get out here and kind of catch y'all up. But let's go up here to the pig area, because unfortunately that's where I got some bad news. There's old Hey Hey and his posse roaming the property. I hope y'all are going to wear down ticks for me this year. But they're up here right next to, they like to hang out in the pig area, which you can see. We got these three right here in with the pigs right now. And as you can see, there's Miss Olivia. There's the boy that we're going to keep that we still haven't named. I really need to do that. I can see Mate are way in there sleeping, and we got the other two. But obviously who I'm lacking is Big Mama. And you can see her house is empty. Oh, you decided you want to wake up, May? Hey, Mater. Oh, goodness. So as y'all know, this was Big Mama's pen, and originally I had her with the other pigs with Mater and Olivia, but ever since she had her piglets, she just wasn't really getting her weight back on like she used to be. We had tried deworming, we tried all kinds of things, and just nothing seemed to really be getting the weight on her. So I did put her in this pen by herself, although I really don't try to isolate my pigs, particularly coonies. I did that for her for a period of time just because I wanted to really make sure that she was able to not have to fight for feed. I was feeding her extra feed and was doing a lot of what I thought I could do to try to put weight on her. And I was getting a little bit more weight on her, but not to the level that really should have been happening. And over the course of the year, since she had had her piglets, we had had 3 different episodes where she was kind of having like a neurological issue. It would resemble kind of like seizures and things of that nature. And those of y'all that have followed us through different social medias, you've gotten to see a little bit glimpse of what we were dealing with. Well, in the past times, usually she would kind of go in and out of not really consciousness, but understanding of what is happening. And so it wouldn't be uncommon in the past that she would have like a 10-minute spell where she's kind of out of it, doesn't really seem to be comprehending, but then she would kick out of it and she'd be normal for 20-30 minutes. Well, the last 2 times that that's happened, we never fully were able to diagnose what was going on, but we did have some success with getting her through it. And she did good here recently for a couple months, and then sure enough, like the flip of a switch, I came out one afternoon. She was great that morning, but I came out that afternoon and she was not really coherent with what was going on. And unfortunately, this particular time, she wasn't snapping out of it. She stayed in a constant state of slight tremors, not really knowing where she was, unsteady on her feet, not really responding to any commands, and it just wasn't going well. And over the course of about 36 hours, in speaking with vets, I could not get her to come out of it. I could not get her to eat or drink. I was syringing fluids into her mouth, trying to get fluids into her. And after some conversations with our vets from the local university, it basically came down to either I could spend a whole lot of money and do a lot of scans to figure out neurologically where the issue was, with a high percentage of likelihood that it would end with the result that's not good anyways, or I just had to make a decision here on the property. And unfortunately, I ended up making the decision that I thought it was best to just go ahead and put her down. And so with the help of some friends, we did that. It went very quickly, very smoothly. I really could not ask for that piece to have gone better than what it is. Having friends here with me when I did it, I think made it much easier on me during the time of, because we do raise some of these pigs for meat, but Big Mama was not here to be meat. She provided us great piglets, but really her personality was just special. And so she was really here to be a pet, if you will. I had no plans to breed her again because of her not quite being right since she had her piglets, but I do think that I did make the right decision. And part of me is sort of glad that I did it here versus taking her somewhere and adding more stress to her. And although it was hard to do, I think it was the best thing to do. But with that being said, Big Mama is not with us any longer. It's kind of sucked. She was always the first to greet when I would come out to feed, climbing the fence, being all full of energy, and to see her the way she was not the way I wanted things to go. But I think it's the way that I needed to deal with it for the long term. Here she is, newest addition to the homestead. They've named her Big Mama. Your peoples was worried about you. They were. You're gonna be all right. What you doing, brother? Oh, show me. What you doing here? I tell you, even though it's not warm, these guys really do drink some water, though. We really got to give you a name, Bubba. We need to come up with that soon, because I'm pretty sure you're going to be here to stay. There goes the Hey Hey posse. Coming to check out what's going on. What's up, Hey Hey? You on high alert, brother? So why were we gone so long? I'll be real honest with you guys. You really got to, at times, need to exercise self-care, if you will. You know, I'm very blessed and thankful that our channel was growing the way that it was. Things were going well. You know, I got the online thing going. I had the store going. And you know, Many of you were buying the hats, which is very appreciative, although that's not really how I ever planned for things to go, but because a lot of you asked, I did it. I was in the process of working on some coffee mugs, which I do have, I just haven't placed on the site at all. And there's a lot of things going really well. Things were growing, the channel was progressing. But those that have been with me know that the channel has always been a side thing, sort of a hobby, if you will, just trying to give normal, everyday people who are thinking about raising some of their own animals or growing their own food, hopes and beliefs that if you work full-time and you're an average Joe with no experience, you can do it. Because that's what I was, that's what I am. But it really became a lot trying to balance everything. A combination of managing the homestead in and of itself. When this year in particular, I felt like there was constant curveballs, whether it was an animal getting sick, a shelter being, broken or needing repairs, or a predator starting to bother things. It was just constant different things that had to be dealt with just on the property alone. Then you factor in that I had just left a nearly 20-year career at the police department, which is a big change in of itself, but then working towards trying to learn a family business. I've worked for them forever, but needing to learn the actual business side of it was a lot to take in or take on as well, because the last thing I want to do is to be a contributor to a family business not succeeding. If anything, I want it to excel what it's been doing. And so I take that very personal and I take that very serious. Well, then you add in 2 children and everything that goes along with children, from school to daycare to sicknesses to just everyday life and busyness of raising children. And then you put on top of that a spouse who works full-time as a teacher. And if many of you know, children in public schools and the drama and the politics and everything involving kids nowadays and the way that they act and behave and the lack of respect that they have. So, by the time she's getting home, she's drained as well. And as a husband and as a father, I have to find a way to be present or try to be present when they're home and to meet their needs. And I will admit that I have fallen quite short of that on many of occasions because I'm stressed, I'm tired. So then she comes home stressed and tired. And then before you know it, we're at each other and then we're short with the kids. And it's just, and I even forgot to mention, that's not counting that wrestling season had begun. And so then I was coaching wrestling full time, 5 days a week, tournaments on the weekends. And so just life in general became a lot. And when I list down what is most important and what needs to go, YouTube was definitely one of those ones that needed to go. I didn't have time for it. At the end of the day, if I were to have died tomorrow, I don't want people to have remembered me as Stan who had a YouTube channel about homesteading. I would want those to have remembered me as, a loving husband, a loving father, a provider, somebody who through coaching helped a young person be successful. Those things to me were more important than YouTube accolades or getting, a little bit of money from YouTube, because YouTube really wasn't formulated for me as a money maker. And so it was more easy to let that be what got cut off. Things don't fix themselves overnight. Since leaving the police department, I said it before, I wanted to become much more strong in my faith. And I know talking about faith is probably detrimental to my channel, especially for some people, and that's fine. I respect that. But I've been trying to diligently go to men's study groups. I've been diligently trying to apply many of the things that I'm learning, that I'm getting deeper in through my faith, to try to be a better father and husband and provider here on my property. And I'm glad to say that although things are not perfect and that not every day is great, overall, life is improving little by little. Things are starting to go better and I'm much more happy. There are still a lot of stressors in life. There will always be stressors in life, but I have to just balance those things out. Now, enough of that soapbox. I really just wanted to come up here to update you all on some of what's been going on, kind of where I've been, where my thought processes have been, and why I've been gone for so long. I don't mean this to be a sad video, and I'm not trying to say that I was super depressed or anything, but I can tell you that I'm generally a positive, more outgoing type person, and I really saw myself being full of stress and anger quite often. And I needed to find a way to correct that. I needed to take some time to correct that. And there were some people in my life that had said or done some things that I really had a lot of animosity towards, and I think that was affecting some of it. And so I had to figure out a way to like not let that eat up at you and just push it to the side. And so, you know, the break was good. And I share that with you because I tell you that any person will most likely have seasons of doubt, seasons of negativity, seasons where you feel like things aren't going to go well for you, and you kind of reach a wall and you're not sure what to do. And the only thing I can tell you from my personal experience is number one, what do you have to fall back on to help you when you're lost? If you are somebody who doesn't have a lot of family or a lot of friends, what do you have? I can tell you right now that everybody has an opportunity through faith to have somebody to fall back on. Everybody can label and list out and prioritize what is going on in their life that is most important. And if you were not to be here tomorrow, what of those things do you want to make sure that you do? And so, you know, that's kind of where I was. That's kind of what I did. And I feel much better now with it. I think things are stabilizing. Wrestling season's over. Our children have kind of stabilized a little bit where they're not have as much stuff going on. But I really do think things are starting to stable out. And through these winter months has been a great time for that. I have a lot of stuff that I really do want to get done. I'm starting to use the word want and not the word need, because I started figuring out that I don't need to do certain things. I just really wanted to. But when you end up with a list this long and you're claiming them to be needs when really they're wants, it adds undue stress. So there's a lot of things that I want to do. And the number one thing I want to do before time passes too much is I do want to get a second door put on this coop. That's right, I said a second door. And I'm thankful a company has collaborated with me, and they're gonna allow me the opportunity to test out their door. And it'll be a good comparison to another door so that you can make a decision for yourself which of the two might be best for you if you're thinking about an auto door. But one of the biggest reasons why I want a second door on here is because to help if I have a failure with one, but mostly the goose here in about another month or two is going to go into laying phase. And if you were with us last year when laying phase hit with the goose, it was extreme. And so she gets super protective. She becomes a bit of an issue, and it becomes an issue with the birds getting into the coop during that time. And so I'm thinking with two doors, maybe we can help address some of that, but we'll go into much more detail on that in an upcoming video. But for right now, I just want to get back with you guys, explain to you kind of what's going on, where we were at, kind of what's going on, a big major change that happened there with our pigs, with the loss of Big Mama. And so just wanted to really just get with you and let you know that things are okay, and this is kind of where we're at, and I'm just trying to be open and honest with you to as much as I can without getting too personal. But guys, I do really appreciate your patience. I appreciate your kind words. I appreciate those of you who have reached out to me personally, just making sure everything was good. And I just assure you that things are fine. Me and my family are fine. And really, if anything, we needed to take a step back and to reaffirm our family, focus on what is most important, and continue to do that. And now that things have stabilized out, you know, we hope to get back with you here shortly on some projects, and the next one being trying to get this coop door installed here in the very near future. So guys, I appreciate you all. I hope everybody's doing well, and we'll see you here very soon on one of our next videos. Bye guys.